first reaction would be to his cold-blooded execution. And people wonder why we want these executives dead. And then you later commented when people were giving you a lot of blowback, I'm not alone, you said. Healthcare executive down with party balloons was on an next post that you commented on. Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Serious?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's been gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
As you can see, Taylor Lorenz has caught herself in quite the pickle. She is not the right person to articulate this point. We're going to let this clip go on Piers Morgan. Tommy Lawrence is going to jump in. Mark Lamont Hill is here. But this one's going to be basically Taylor Lorenz making a complete fool out of herself. And Piers Morgan jumping in and really doing basically a WWE finishing move on her. Let's get back to Piers Morgan and doing all that stuff on Taylor Lorenz. But I'm going to let you know at the end why she has a point.
Americans that be murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer and in some cases die because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
But why not?
And,
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the system.
You seem to find the whole thing hilarious.
I find your question funny.
A bloke's been murdered in the street. I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny that tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving health care from people like the CEO. Now, I want to fix the system. You're right. We shouldn't be going around shooting each other with vigilante justice. No. I think that it is a good thing that this murder has led to America, or really the media elites and politicians in this country paying attention to this issue for the first time. You mentioned you couldn't understand why somebody would feel this reaction when they watched a CEO die. It's because you have not dealt, it sounds like, with the American healthcare system in the way that millions of other Americans have.
This is a terrible angle to go. Taylor Lorenz trying to go at Piers Morgan. You can't, in the debate, tell somebody like this you haven't gone through it. All they have to do is say, yes, I have. Taylor Lorenz is not the right person to articulate this point. She put herself in a hole. She dug her own grave when she said she felt joy and couldn't articulate what it was about. The joy that I think she was trying to articulate, because it came out disjointed, she's probably nervous, who knows, Piers Morgan pounced on her. The joy she's articulating is that the topic of healthcare is up in the news and trending more than it has in 10 years or 8 years since Bernie 2016. I'm going to tell you why I largely agree with her at the end. Let's go.
I've dealt with the healthcare system in various ways in America. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but the idea that I would view it as something...
Have you been denied life saving?
Hang on. The idea that I would view it as something joyful that a man has been, who's just a healthcare executive, has been executed in the street, I find completely bizarre. Let me bring in Tommy here. Yeah. Tommy, I keep being told... Hang on, Taylor, I'll come back to you.
Okay, Tommy, don't say I'm joyful. I said
you said you were feeling joyful.
Yeah, I take that back. Joyful is the wrong word, Piers.
You think?
But I said, as I clarified,
yeah. You think joyful is the wrong word? Yeah,
sure,
I'd say it is.
Vindicated, celebratory, because again, it feels like justice in this system when somebody responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans suffers the same fate as those tens of thousands of Americans who he murdered or
Tommy,
at this point, I think Taylor Lorenz has somebody there with her. Maybe I could be wrong, or it just triggered in her head ding, 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 this is not a good moment. It's going to go viral. So then that's why she jumped back in. Let's get back to Piers Morgan. He's bringing in Tommy Lauren. Let's see.
Whether Taylor wants to retract the word joyful or not, we all heard her say it. And I was just shocked. I mean, I find that kind of response utterly shocking, that someone could be murdered in the middle of Manhattan, who happens to be an executive for a healthcare company, and people think this is something that makes them feel joyful.
Yeah, this is still the remnants of the incredibly bratty Occupy Wall Street movement that's morphed into 100 other movements by now, all equally as disgusting. But to celebrate the murder of a husband and a father simply because you disagree with his position at a company, or you disagree with the company, or you disagree with the system of healthcare that we have in the U.S. is quite frankly sick, twisted, and disgusting. Why you'd celebrate anybody's murder, especially just an innocent man who you happen to disagree with, is really shocking to me. But it also just goes to show that the left, and many on the left, have a tendency to believe that violence like this, political violence, is necessary. It's a means to an end. And if they believe in the end and they believe in the means, it's really sick and wrong. If you want to have a conversation about healthcare in this country, that's fine. Let's have that all day long. But to be joyful, or even to say you're not empathetic about somebody losing their life when they leave behind two young boys, especially during the holiday season, the same day that millions of New Yorkers are celebrating a tree lighting, I mean, that's just too far for me, a bridge too far. The loving and tolerant left is at it again, Piers.
Yeah, Taylor, I don't mean to be rude, but why the fuck are you laughing all the time? I don't get it.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm
apologies for my
laughing
language,
because
but honestly, I find it unbelievable. What are you laughing at?
Here, I am laughing at Tommy's.
let's pause for a second. Oh my goodness. I side with Taylor Lorenz, but she is getting undressed right now in front of everybody. Mark Lamont Hill is saying, yikes. Tommy Lauren's like, eesh. Taylor, how could you have, in my opinion, such a great moment like this, Taylor Lorenz, and completely drop the ball? I'm moving this back. Piers Morgan couldn't wait for Tommy Lauren to stop talking so he could get back and pile back on Taylor Lorenz on his own show.
For me, a bridge too far. The loving and tolerant left is at it again, Piers.
Yeah, Taylor, I don't mean to be rude, but why the fuck are you laughing all the time? I don't get it. Sorry,
I'm laughing
apologies for my
because
language,
this is-
but honestly, I find it unbelievable. What are you laughing at?
Here, I am laughing at Tommy's insane mischaracterization of why people are angry. It has nothing to do with Occupy Wall Street. This is a feeling that people feel across the left and the right. You mentioned Ben Shapiro earlier in his video about the healthcare exec.
Taylor Lorenz is right.
I encourage people to check the comment section on that video, okay? 100% of America is united on this, or rather the majority of America is united on this.
The thing with her is she's just one of the most unaware, unself-aware people that you will ever see. That's part of the problem.
We do not think that this healthcare system that is murdering, again, thousands of innocent Americans who, by the way, Tommy, also have families, also have children. These people are being killed by our barbaric and evil for-profit healthcare system. And I agree, we should not necessarily go around shooting people in the street. And while I am joyful that this issue has been brought to attention,
Did you hear that, Piers?
I agree
Not
that
necessally.
It's just
they
unbelievable.
shouldn't be shot in the streets. They shouldn't be shot in the streets because, again, it doesn't solve the systemic problem. You could United Healthcare will just appoint a new ghoulish CEO. The point is that we need to fix these systems so that, again, people like Brian or whoever's in charge of these companies stops murdering tens of thousands of innocent Americans. That is the
Let me bring in Mark on this. I mean, Mark, I'm sorry, but there's just no justification for laughing your way through a segment like this, talking about how joyful you were that this happened. Is there?
Again, I'm not joyful that
Sorry,
it happened.
Taylor, I'm asking Mark, not you.
Well, then stop.
I heard you.
misquoting
You
what
said it. You may have recanted it, but unfortunately,
no, I'm clarifying it because
unfortunately,
again,
as you know, this show keeps receipts.
Piers Morgan. Let me tell you though, this is the real talk. I need real talk right now. Real talk. I'm with Taylor Lorenz on this. She just can't articulate the point. Am I joyful that somebody got unlived? Absolutely not. So you won't catch me like that. But that's not what she meant. I think most people objectively looking at what Taylor Lorenz said to Piers Morgan, even Piers Morgan, would agree that that's not what she meant. If she meant that, she would have stood by it. It came out wrong. It happens to everyone. She looked like she was nervous. She hasn't done many pods like that. Where's the debate? She had that one debate with Libs of TikTok where she actually destroyed Libs of TikTok. Haya Raychek was not impressive during that interview. But now she's with Piers Morgan. He does debate all the time. He knows what to do, how to do it. He gets owned sometimes, but he knows how to do it. He can hold his own. Tommy Lauren just has the presence. Mark Lamont Hill, he's just kind of weaselly and takes these, kind of half-assed positions. Taylor Lorenz isn't ready for that moment. Get people from the left who are Piers Morgan. Before I tell you why I do agree with her sentiment, Piers, get Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network on your show. Get Kim Iverson, if you can, on your show. Get Nico House on your show. I'm throwing out people from the left I respect. Get Jen Perlman on your show. Get Peter Hager on your show. There's a ton of people on the left. Get Midwestern Marxist on your show. I mean, he's had Jackson Hinkle, who I like. Get him on there. Get young Nick on there. Get everybody on there. He's not left, but get Dr. Karlin Borisenko. Piers, dear Piers, somebody get in the comments. You got to get momentum. If you know these people I'm calling out, get in the comment section here. Get in the comment section on Piers's show. These people need to be there. Craig Pasta, Fiorella, Isabel, they need to be on the show. If Piers, it looks like he's doing an authentic show where he's got real debate. It's the best one out there. Culture War, Crucible, and Piers Morgan are the ones that I'm looking at right now. Let's go. This is good stuff. Now I'm going to tell you why I've got a problem. Well, I've got a problem with our healthcare system. And I've got a problem with people who are disingenuous. I don't care if corrupt people get unlived. Don't care. Am I going to say joy? Hell no. You won't hear that coming out of my mouth. But you will hear apathy. Don't care. I don't know that, bruh. Why would I care? He doesn't do a podcast or TV show I watch. I never knew who he was, never followed him. Why would I care? I'm not rooting for anything bad to happen to anybody, but I do not care. Not even a little bit. Don't care. He wasn't an ally of mine. So let's start there. Oh, is that clear, Piers? Why would I care? People get unlived every day. There's people who would be more my political allies, get imprisoned, unlived, all kinds of craziness. I would start with them first. Don't care about this guy. I don't care about anybody, especially corrupt. Dude was corrupt, not only just from the business standpoint. There were other allegations out there stock-wise. These guys flipping stock, selling inside, allegedly, making bank over bank. How much money is enough? And you still cheat the system. Again, I'm not celebrating Piers. I don't care. So the next step is, if I don't care, well, let's talk about MAGA. Let's talk about people on the right and the country that they support, that Ben Shapiro loves, the country that they say we have to support, the country that Trump says we have to support, the country Trump said he wants to make great again. They have guaranteed health care. If you did not know that New Jersey-sized country where they wear the funny hats, they have guaranteed health care. We do not here. Why and how do they have guaranteed health care? Because we fund their defense. We are their baby daddies. We are giving them paychecks. Who? Working class Americans. Even if you don't agree with government-funded health care, there are problems with it, obviously. But objectively, that would be better money spent than giving it to them or any other foreign country. So if somebody passes away and it propels substantive discussion, on healthcare or any other issue, I am here for it. It is America first to expect basic coverage in healthcare. And we are going to a gig economy. That means more and more people, you're going to be a temp worker. More and more people are going to be replaced by robots. Industrial revolution times 100. Tesla has cars right now where you go to work and you don't touch the steering wheel. You don't even need to touch the accelerator. Now, what do you think is going to happen 5 years from now? So what that means is you won't have as many people employed and you won't have employer-covered health care. There will need to be a universal basic income and healthcare coverage. Put it in the bank, mark it down. I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years. It will need to happen. So I'm here for the discussion. Let me know what you think.